Panther Ranger.
Hey YouTube, Panther Ranger here. Today I am back with the review of the Star Wars Black Series, Darth Vader from the TV show Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+. And this is the first Star Wars review I've done in a few years, but I am back with the review, and I'm finally doing Star Wars reviews this time. But before we get them out of the packaging, let's talk about the packaging. As you can see here, I have the amazing Star Wars Black Series logo on top. And on the bottom you see the TV show's name. And you also have the character's name, the warning sign, age, and the amazing Hasbro logo. And on the side of the packaging here you see an amazing black and white shot of Darth Vader. Or I could say artwork. Really amazing, by the way. I really like the design of how it is, the artwork. You have a lightsaber effect also. And here you have Darth Vader's name right there. And on the back of the packaging you see a description of the character. And you have a amazing artwork that you saw on the side of the box. So actually here, I don't know if you can see that clearly, you have the Star Wars Black Series logo. And there is a description of the character Darth Vader. If you want to read it, just pause the video if you'd like. And here it says Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. And here's the warning sign and stuff like that. And you have the Disney logo and the Hasbro logo on top. And on the side of this packaging you don't see nothing much except the Star Wars logo and a continuation of the design. And you have a little bit of a window on top where you see what he looks like from top. And on the bottom you don't see anything much except for UPC and stuff like that. Now you saw the packaging, let's get the Sith Lord out. Okay, here he is, out of the packaging, and wow. But before we talk about the figure, let's talk about the accessories. So why don't we move out of the way and let's talk about the accessories. So far he only comes with one accessory, and that accessory is his iconic weapon, his lightsaber. I really do like the red plastic, that they use, this definitely represents his, dark side, actually, because red is usually, Sith color. It's, sculpted very well, and, this is a really nice plastic, actually. And the handle is, sculpted and painted very well. There is a lot of detail on here, especially with, this handle, actually. The black paint is, amazing. Even the silver paint also is, amazing. They have a little bit, a nice gold right here. And you have, a nice silver around here, and, this chain thing. It kind of looks like a hook almost, like a ring. And the silver part right here is amazing. This is actually part of a camera handle. That's the prop that was used from the original Star Wars movie, actually. Enough talking about the accessory. Let's talk about Vader himself. Now looking at the figure, I do think they did a good job with the sculpting of the mask, the eyes, the visor, I guess you could say. It's sculpted and painted very well. The breathing, through his mouth, it's, amazing. The whole mask is, nicely sculpted. Even the silver paint on, between his, mouth, it's, amazingly detailed and nice paint as well. It's a really nice silver also. And the part of the helmet is, so amazingly sculpted too, the top part. The line is, amazing. Even his, shoulder pads, actually, the shoulder armor, it's, nicely painted and nicely sculpted too. Even his shoulder pads right here, I don't know if you can see that clearly. There you go, that's a lot better. I do think they did a good job with this whole chest armor here. Even his breathing instruments, if you can see clearly. Come on, focus. There you go, that's a lot better. I do think they did a good job with the detail and with the buttons and all that. There's a really nice paint, actually, with the red and green, and here's some others buttons also. It's nicely painted, too. Even the belt also is, nicely detailed. His, buttons on his, belt. It's kind of reminded me of Christmas a little bit because, red and green. And also, the silver buttons right here is, nicely painted and detailed here. It's basically the same thing, almost. It's a little mirrored. And looking at the arms, I do think they did a good job with the arms, the gloves is, really amazing. It's, a really nice, glossy black to it. Same with the left arm also. They did a good job with that. Even his, like, legs, it's, like, nicely detailed, I would say. And there is, like, the black boots, like, it's like a nice gloss to it, actually. The cape is, like, really amazingly sculpted, bro. I'm glad that they use fabric because, like, it's a lot, like, flexible and easy to use, and it's also easy to pose, also. Like, this cape is, like, so amazing, I would say. You know what, let's not talk about the figure anymore. Let's move on to his articulation, as long as he's standing. Yeah, there you go. Now let's talk about his articulation. As for articulation, his head can rotate a little bit, actually. The part of his helmet is kind of, like, hindering it. And his arms actually can rotate 360. This little, like, this chest armor can, like, hinder it from happening, actually. His arms don't rotate, actually. But there is, like, elbow joints in both. Wow, that's really flexible. Yeah, and there is, like, a single elbow or double elbow. Yeah, it's single elbow joint, actually. He can rotate his elbows, though, that much I could say. And there is, like, wrist rotation in both hands. Oh, wow. Wrist rotation. I think his wrist can rotate, actually. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. And also, like, his legs can sort of move forward, actually. Like, his whole, like, guard actually would prevent it. It's hindering it. His legs can move back. There is, like, double jointed pins. Like, there is actually a double jointed knee joint, which is amazing, I would say. And his, like, thigh rotation on here with his right leg and left, actually. And his feet can move forward and backwards, up and down, I should say. And there is beautiful ankle pivoting here. And you can actually hold his lightsaber on his hand. I think it works better on his, like, right hand, actually, if you can. There you go. That was easy. It was not so hard. So, before we talk about the size comparison, let's measure out this figure. So, Darth Vader, I would say, he stands at approximately, like, close to the 6-inch. He's like 6.5-ish, actually, close to 7 inches, actually. So let's move on to the size comparison. For your Star Wars Black Series comparison, here he is next to Rey and Finn. As you can see, like, Vader's definitely taller than Rey and Finn, but they do scale well together, though. Next, we have the Lightning Collection Black Ranger from In Space. As you can see, the Black Ranger is a little bit shorter. Next, we have the Marvel Legends series Ravager Thor from Thor Love and Thunder. As you can see, Thor is definitely taller than Vader by a few inches. Next, we have the Marvel Legends series Yelena Belova from the Hawkeye Disney Plus show. As you can see, Yelena's a little bit shorter. And lastly, we have the Jacketed Spider-Man from the Homecoming 2-pack with MJ. As you can see, Spider-Man is shorter than Vader. Overall, I give this Black Series Darth Vader a solid 8 out of 10. So what makes this an 8 out of 10? So it's like, the head articulation is a little limited because of his helmet. And like, some of the articulation, there is a little bit of limitation. Like, like, there's not much, like, double elbow joint, which I expected from this figure. But otherwise, this is a good figure, though. Like, it's like, there is, like, good thigh rotation, actually, and wrist rotation. But what I really like about the figure is the paint application, the details, and, like, the fabric around his, like, suit, actually, because, like, this will be easy to pose, also. And it is very flexible, also, especially. Like, what I meant by that is that it is easy to pose with the fabric cape, because, like, plastic cape will make it, like, hard for the figure to stand up. But this is still a good figure, though. And that concludes my review of the Star Wars Black Series Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show on Disney+. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you can stay up to date on my upcoming videos. And I will see you again in another video. And may the Force be with you.